All right, guys, so at this point, we've kind of started to work our way through the entire course that is the elevated ed. Now, we've got some goals. We started attacking, going after our sphere and really organizing it. Then we started doing some open houses. And today, we're going to go off that new shiny object that everybody talks about, but nobody really knows how to totally capitalize on, and that is Facebook. The reason why we're going to get into Facebook is because it is that shiny object, and sometimes we can get distracted and go down that rabbit hole and completely forget about our objectives of prospecting through our sphere and through our open houses, and all we focus on is Facebook. We don't want to do that. What we want to do is we want to use Facebook to, complement our activities with our sphere and our activities within our open house. And that's the way you got to look at it. It's just a complement. It's some window dressing, if you will, to building your business through the pillars of sphere and your open houses. So let's get started and kind of talk about some of the power of what is Facebook. And to kind of help you get this, I want to go ahead and give you a little background on what is social media and how kind of social media came through. If you remember that blast from the past, something called MySpace, in 2003, MySpace came out as a social media platform that isn't what it was initially intended for, but that's what it transformed to because people wanted to connect. Quickly after that, then that's when you have Facebook in 2003, and then even YouTube jumped in the game in 2005. Now, these are the three major players that we're going to kind of talk about. Now, we can obviously get into later in the game where you have Instagram, your Snapchat, LinkedIn, all those different social media platforms, but this is the early phase of it. And as you can see, MySpace is that blue line, and it starts to peak out, then quickly falls off, whereas Facebook just skyrockets in an exponential curve. Well, why is that? So that's what we're going to kind of dive into, and to really understand and maximize Facebook, we need to understand what they're trying to do. So Facebook, clearly, the social media battle, Facebook is winning. If you take that 5,000 foot or 30,000 foot view over social media, you can clearly see that it doesn't matter your gender, it doesn't matter your age, Facebook is crushing the social media space. If you understand the numbers of it, 2.2 billion people have a Facebook account. 2.2 billion people. And all those people are consumers. And we, in this service industry, are looking to get engaged in communicating with consumers. 2.2 billion, you're probably going to want to be there. Now, that's that huge view, but let's kind of narrow it down a little bit more, and let's talk about daily users of Facebook. So they have 2.2 billion users, but they have, every single day, they have 1.4 billion people actively engaged. So they might have tons of accounts, but still, 1.4 billion people daily are engaging in Facebook. So these are all consumers. Now, what do we do trying to gain interest and attention from consumers? Well, if you look at established marketing techniques such as advertisements of commercials for different products, that's one way to reach consumers. So I decided to compare Facebook to one of those major events that reaches out tons of consumers, and that event is called the Super Bowl. Okay, so we have the Super Bowl versus Facebook. Do you realize that in last year's Super Bowl there was something like, I believe it was 114 million 114 million viewers of last year's Super Bowl, and Coca-Cola, obviously producing goods, tried to reach that 114 million consumers, and it cost them $5 million for 30 seconds. That's a very healthy price tag, and I don't know if you and I, as realtors, are willing to pay that $5 million to reach those consumers. Now, but if you compare that to Facebook and Facebook's reach of consumers, every single night between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m., there are 110 million users on Facebook. So the exact same reach that Coca-Cola was looking for in the Super Bowl is the same type of reach or potential reach, if you end up going viral, that you can have using Facebook, and it's free. So clearly, there's a lot of potential there that can kind of further accentuate your other activities of prospecting and lead generation. So we're going to dive into it. Now, when people are on Facebook, what are they there for? Well, here's a chart that shows the top 14 reasons why people are on Facebook. You don't have to read through it all, but I'm going to kind of narrow it down, and you can see all these yellow hoops. So 9 of the 14 reasons why people are on Facebook is specifically so they can engage with friends. That's what each one of those circles are. Friends, 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 friends. That's why people are on Facebook. They are not on Facebook to find a realtor and buy and sell their home. That is not what they're trying to do. It's not about that experience. It's about building and nurturing relationships on Facebook. So, what does that mean for you as a realtor? Well, does Facebook control or influence people? I would say absolutely. If you have 1.4 billion people on every single day, then it has some influence to what they're seeing and what they're doing. But how much control does Facebook actually have? Do you realize that Facebook is very methodical in its algorithms and how it controls what each person sees? Do you know that when you post something on Facebook, it doesn't immediately go out to all your friends? If you have 1,000 friends on Facebook, not all 1,000 sees them. What that Facebook does is it basically beta tests that post to see how cool it is, or how much engagement it can get, or how much people like what you're posting. So it only sends it out to 10%, and then depending on the activity of that 10%, then it'll open up to more, and then it'll open up to more, and potentially then if it gets tons of engagement out of your friend or your social group, it'll start promoting it outside of your friend network, and that's where you can draw more. But initially, your post is only going to 10% of your friends. That's pretty significant. Facebook is definitely controlling what people are seeing and how much exposure your posts get. Now, that's just with your personal post or on your personal page. What about your business page? Well, Facebook has a new algorithm, and they're looking to try to limit the amount of, promotions or sponsored ads that people are seeing on Facebook, because that's not why people are there. People are there to deal with friendships and build relationships. They're not looking for business or to be inundated with advertisements. So they're going to try to limit everybody's exposure to promotions and say that they only get 3 promotions a day. Well, are they again limiting or controlling what people see on Facebook, and you're trying to break through that? So how does that impact you? Well, one, you have to understand you are not in control. That Facebook is indeed the gatekeeper on what people see and what they don't see. So you have to get on board with the gatekeeper. You can fight it all you want, but that's going to make you unsuccessful, and it's not going to expand your reach of helping people, helping clients find new homes. So you need to first understand, work with Facebook, understand what Facebook wants. Facebook wants people to stay on Facebook. They don't want people to go surfing around, going all other places to other social media platforms. So you have to be very, very careful and very calculated to make sure that your posts are engaging, because every time it engages, it makes people want to stay in Facebook to see the different comments, the different activities, the different things that are going on there. Fair enough? Makes sense? And this is something that was also reiterated in 2018. A little bit of a backlash onto Facebook, where they felt, consumers of Facebook felt like they were getting saturated with advertisements. Well, Facebook, obviously a smart company that's working really hard to continue to build, is sensitive to what the consumers want. So they are significantly limiting the sponsored ads, the clickbait that you see, all the random promotions that you're throwing out there, to make sure it's back to its roots of building relationships. Work with Facebook. Make sure you too are building those relationships, because anything else, that any other post you're going to put out, has a very high likelihood of being buried in other people's Facebook feed and never expanding and gaining your reach. So they want people glued on Facebook, just like that lady, or every single high school kid ever when they're alone. Other agents trying to do this. Absolutely. What's your competition doing? All these agents are going to try to do that, but how calculated, how focused are they? And are they working with Facebook, or are they just doing the same thing that they think they should be doing? That's a difference maker. Other competition that you have that's coming into the market in different areas is iBuyers. iBuyers are OfferPads, Open Door, and now Zillow has come in to try to buy properties and competing with agents, buying and selling of properties. Well, gosh, that's crazy intimidating when you think about these multi-billion-dollar companies that have endless resources and can push so much information and sponsored ads on the consumer. But if you think about it, that's exactly what Facebook is working against. They're trying to prevent people from being inundated with those sponsored advertisements, the clickbait, those types of things. So if you can understand that and get in that wheelhouse, these people aren't competition. because they're not as focused as what you're going to be with some of the tools that we're going to talk about. Now, what's your edge in that competition? It's not about money. Zillow, billions of dollars, they can do sponsored ads and they can outspend everybody. But that's not what works on Facebook. What works on Facebook is building relationships. So if you're calculated and genuine about what your Facebook activity is, that's how you're going to be successful in supporting your business in real estate. So we're going to jump forward and we're going to start talking about the different items of Facebook that we can be ultimately successful. I want to teach you how agents can effectively manage your Facebook profile to help develop and grow your business. We're going to do that through a couple different things. The first one, we're going to talk about your personal page and how you can set up your personal page. Then we're going to start talking about some of the posting activities. And then we're going to talk about how not just posting to keep the friends that you already have and keep them engaged, but then trying to increase the number of friends that you have. And then we're going to talk a little bit about your business page and some of the activities that you can do there. So hopefully this was a little bit longer intro, but I think it's really, really important to get the mindset of what Facebook is doing so you can align yourself with Facebook. Don't fight the giant, work with the giant.